Radon levels and low appraisals. Two things that you never want to hear when you have a listing that is under contract. What is radon? Well, it's a gas and it comes up out of the earth. Unfortunately, East Tennessee is very prone to having radon. So if you're looking to buy a house in East Tennessee, I would definitely encourage you to get a radon test done. Mitigation systems are typically going to run anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500. And it's just peace of mind knowing that you don't have to worry about that gas affecting the health of your family. It's kind of like having carbon monoxide detectors. And so recently I had a house that went under contract that was up in New Tazewell, and the initial radon test came back with a reading of 37. Now, the healthy level is they want it to be 4 or below. This one came back at 37, and the buyer's agent and myself were like, that's the highest I've ever heard of in my life. Well, so we called the sellers, we were talking to them. They came down and met with one of the radon companies, and come to find out there was some kind of a trap underneath one of the sinks that was not closed properly, which had caused septic fumes, septic gases, to play into the high radon reading. So once that was closed off, we retested the house and it came back at a 15, which is still above the healthy level, but it's much more of a manageable number, because when we were looking at a 37, these radon companies are like, we may have to install 2 or 3 mitigation systems to get that down to an acceptable level. So we were happy that we tested at a 15. We're only going to have to get one system put in, and the buyer's going to move forward with the purchase. Also had a low appraisal come in this past week. We were under contract, and our appraisal came in nearly $200,000 below the contract price. And that can be a real deal killer, because buyers don't want to pay more for a home than what it's appraised for. But what I tell people is that appraised value isn't always market value. But if somebody's going to have to finance it, they kind of need that appraised value to meet their purchase price. We had to have a meeting of the minds between the buyer agent, myself, and the sellers, and figure out how we were going to make this deal work, because the buyer's wanting to buy the house, the seller's wanting to sell the house, and neither party was real happy about how this appraisal came back. But we were able to come to a peaceful resolution, and we will get to close on that house at the end of the month.